Hey guys, welcome to day 12 challenge of today, and we have a sentence that has quite a lot of things in it. We have at least three components here, which we can divide out right away. So you'll note we have the two commas, and this always keeps doing that, but here we go. 1, 2. So we know that there's at least 1, 2, 3 ideas present in this sentence. So let's start with the first parts, like we always do, and that is subject and predicate. So let's do it. It being the subject, very beginning. Predicate is. Next idea, instead of scolding me. Oh, this is interesting. So typically we would think that the subject exists here, but instead of is actually a preposition. And knowing that there are sentences which do not have a very clear subject but start with a preposition tell us one thing and one thing only. This is a dependent clause. So since this is a dependent clause, it needs an independent clause, which should be right here. So let's go to the last sentence. She, there's our subject, smiles. Okay, so we have it is and she smiles as our main ideas for subject and predicate with a dependent clause following but. And we can already separate that by calling this a conjunction. All right, moving on. It is, what it is. Now, whenever we see is, these are called linking verbs. They're linking some kind of noun to its subject, defining what it is. So what is it? It is late. So late is describing it, meaning we've got ourselves a predicate nominative. Okay? Here it is. Now, to is an adverb. So let's get that kind of a nice yellow color here. So to here is an adverb. It's not just late, it's too late. And let's see the next one. She smiles. She smiles at. Here's our preposition. I think we can just do this here with the highlighter. At what reflection? Whose reflection? Ours. There's the possessive. All right, so this was pretty straightforward. In this case, we have a predicate nominative, but then we have this to, which you guys would recognize as a preposition, and you would be correct. However, the next word always indicates whether you're dealing with a object of the preposition or you're dealing with something called an infinitive. Now, if you guys remember what we talked about, infinitives are verbs that can be used pretty much any which way. So it is too late. What is it too late for? To look away becomes an infinitive verb, which is a part of this construction. It is too late to look away. And away obviously it's telling you how to look, and that is an adverb. All right. So always remember, whenever you see to or for, it should be, hey, this could be an indirect object. But when you see the word right next to it, in this case, look could be a verb. So to look becomes an infinitive. Now we're going to deal with this last part. And this part here could be confusing for many of you, so just breathe. Okay, instead of, right off the bat, is a preposition. Okay, whatever is going to follow that is going to be the object of the preposition. And we have something called scolding. So this right here, I'm going to underline it with a green because what you're looking at is a noun, but it's formed from a verb. In English, anything that is formed from a verb and is acting like a noun is called, let me just put that in here for you. So it's called a gerund, okay? So a gerund is simply a verb turned into a noun, okay? But it takes direct objects just like a regular verb do. Now, why in the world would we want to change verbs into nouns, you ask? Well, in this case, instead of, which is a preposition, is asking us for a noun that agrees with it. If I say instead of a scold, which would be the noun for scolding, you don't have that feeling of action, right? So gerunds will take those verbs, the feeling of an action word, and turn it into a noun so that it agrees with prepositions. And you can insert as many of those as you want. Okay, so in this case, because this is a gerund and because this is a verb acting as a noun, it is an object of the preposition. So O, P, and it is going to take a direct object at the same time. And what is the direct object of scolding? Who is she scolding? She is scolding me. So the interesting thing about this sentence is that out of all those words, guys, there's only one direct object in it, and it comes in the middle of the sentence. Okay, I think it's fantastic construction, and it gives you a little bit of an idea of what gerunds are and why they are important in putting sentences together. Now, let's look at our verb tenses, which is the last thing. So we have it as our first verb. Is. What is it? It is a third person because it's an it, and we have a singular, and we also have a present because it is simple and true. Infinitives are infinitives. They don't need to be syntax the way we've just done. They pretty much fit into anything. Scolding does not need it. Remember, it's a verb acting as a noun. And then we have she smiles. She smiles. She, again, third person. Singular. It is present. And it's simple. And it's indicative. So notice that so far in our study, in the study of the book Divergent that we're kind of going through sentence by sentence, we have only present, simple, indicative tenses. Why do you guys think that is? Number one, whenever we're dealing with narratives, you're always going to see the present tense come up. The only time we will see past tenses as we move through the story is where the character is going to talk about something that happened in the past. Think about it. Whenever we narrate stories, we always narrate stories using a present and typically using the simple quite a lot. So as we move through all these challenges, pay attention to the verb tenses and how they work in narrative stories. And the same thing as you guys are writing your essays, you will note that you're also going to be writing a lot in the present simple tense. Okay, so be careful with your ing endings, kind of like you see here with the scolding. If you are using ing endings, especially when you're writing essays, make sure that they are gerunds. And I hope that you guys now know what gerunds are. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you guys for another challenge tomorrow. Take care. Bye.